Good morning, good afternoon, good day. Welcome to my weekend market roundup, 9th October 2021. I am Sagar Nandi, retired IT professional, swing trading stocks using the Q systems and techniques. You may contact me using my email ID tradingprofitably@gmail.com. I regularly share live market and stock analysis on my website sagarnandi.com, YouTube channel Trading Profitably, and Twitter handle Sagar Nandi. You are most welcome to make use of them. Disclaimer: this demonstration is for educational purposes only. I am not an investment advisor. It is not a trade recommendation. Trading involves risk. You and only you are solely responsible for the outcome of your trades. These are the Q systems I use for a comprehensive 360 degrees analysis. They run as add-ons on the TradeStation and Metastock platforms. That was the last slide. Let's continue with the live system. Unfortunately, it seems that Refinitiv server is down. So we'll try to use offline data for the global market analysis. Let's see if I can find them. No. I'm going to add a local folder that has that symbol, those symbols. No. Let's look at some of the global markets. I have some global markets. India's Sensex. Let's look at it using the weekly daily. This is not going well. Metastock is down. In fact, Refinitiv server is down. So I went to Refinitiv. This is my watch list, the FANG stocks. And you see many of the columns are not populating. The Refinitiv server is not sending data. That's fine. We'll not use Metastock. We have Q Elite on TradeStation. We'll use that. For the global markets, just look at the India's Sensex. I have that downloaded. Local data as of Friday's close. It is remaining one of the strongest global markets in an uptrend. However, in last couple of weeks it is slowing down. It is moving sideways. Friday's candle is also indecisive. If I am holding any long position in the Indian market, I will be keeping an eye on it and see if it can break below this trend line support. If it can break below this trend line support, two of them in fact, then I will protect my profit and may even look for shorting opportunities. We will not look at the other global markets today. Let's look at the USA market, starting with S&P 500 ETF SPY. The backdrop color is remaining bearish in the weekly chart. gradually coming down. This week's shape is indecisive. In the daily, it is now in a downtrend with lower high and lower low. At the very low, it displayed the bullish headwind and then recovered from the low to the yellow direction line. On Thursday, it made a topping tail, and Friday price came down little bit. The backdrop color is magenta, so if daily can come down little bit more and gives a magenta flow candle, then it will signal a go with flow trend following short setup. I will not buy SPY now, and I will not short it unless I see price tilting down from the yellow direction line, probably with that bearish flow. Nasdaq ETF QQQ, I pointed to the bearish headwind right on the day it appeared on the weekly chart. Since then, it has gradually come down. This week, it hit the trendline support and nicely bounced up from there. The weekly still ended with bearish color and indecisive shape. Because it is in bearish color, in daily, similar to SPY, if price can come down and gives a bearish flow candle, that will signal a go with flow trend following short setup. If that happens, price will probably be too close to the lower boundary. So instead of trying to short QQQ, I could look at constituent stocks. QQQ is also in a downtrend with lower high, lower low. I mentioned earlier the biggest down move of 3 months that came in this area, and at that time the price was at pendulum high. When the biggest drop of 3 months take place at pendulum high, it is usually a sign of things to come, and that happened. The first drop happened around this area, and since then price has continued to come down. If it tilts down again, it will give the next go with flow trend following short setup. I will not buy it now. I will wait for the flow setup before shorting. Dow Jones Industrial Average, it is moving inside a range created by trendline resistance and support. It is closer to the upper edge of the range, so I will like to short it rather than buying it, especially if price can go to the trendline resistance and goes down from there. I will avoid buying it now. I will wait to see if it can break out of the trendline resistance and only then consider buying in DIA. Looking at SPY QQQ, it will probably be easier to look for shorting opportunities at this point in DIA also than buying opportunities. Again, if it can break out of the trendline resistance, then the preferred direction will change. So far, looking at these 3 market ETFs, my preferred trading direction is bearish. However, the signals are not there yet. And lastly, Russell 2000 ETF IWM. In couple of recent webinars, I mentioned it was moving sideways, and that is continuing. In the previous webinars, I mentioned it was right in the middle of the sideways range. That was a no trading zone. That was very effective analysis because it is back to that no trading zone, right in the middle of the sideways range in both daily and weekly, and I will avoid taking any trades in IWM. Overall, from the market ETFs, I see there is no trade setup in any of the market ETFs. If the market goes down next week, then SPY will probably give the best shorting opportunity than the other ETFs. Why not QQQ? Because QQQ may be too close to the lower boundary, and DIA and IWM are moving sideways, whereas SPY is in a downtrend. Let's see if we can find additional insight from the market breadth. Let's look at the composite market breadth, that is looking at Nasdaq and NYSE as a whole. The yellow line, percentage of stocks above 50 MA, that is continuing in a downtrend both in Nasdaq and NYSE. For Nasdaq, it is at around 35% level. For NYSE, it is also around just below 35% level. So about 35% of stocks in both Nasdaq and NYSE are above their 50-day moving average. That is bearish because that is below the midpoint 50% level, and that is bearish because it is below the average line also, the dotted yellow line, and it is also coming down with lower high, lower low. So from all perspectives, broad market internals are bearish. Let's now look at the market breadth total view. That is calculated using the 2 exchanges and 4 major indices. Complete view of the market. Here also the yellow line is coming down, lower high, lower low, slightly above 35% level, below the midpoint 50% level, and below the average line. So for total view also, the yellow line, percentage of stocks above 50 MA, is showing that the market is weak. The 3-month new high low for the total view is near the midpoint. So it is not giving any overbought flag or oversold flag. It's in the midpoint. We cannot get any directional preference from that. There is also no distribution or accumulation count on Thursday or Friday or Wednesday even. There is no Hindenburg as well. So there is no extra insight from the market breadth total view about preferred trading direction except from the yellow line, percentage of stocks above 50-day MA, which is bearish. What kind of stocks are in favor? Growth versus value. The magenta line is tilting down, so growth is doing poorly relative to value. We may avoid growth stocks. And small cap versus large cap. Small caps were doing better. Small cap versus large cap line was going up, but last couple of days it is tilting down, so small caps are not doing better. Let's now look at the QH, sector, industry, stock, advanced decline breadth. 1 month to 1 day, sector, industry, stock, advanced decline breadth. Friday was bearish. 82% of sectors went down, 71% of industries and 64% of stocks went down. So Friday was bearish. However, 2-day, 5-day and 10-day periods are bullish. 1 month is again bearish. So it could be that in an overall downtrend, 1 month is bearish, market tried to go up, 10-day, 5-day, 2-day became bullish, and then 1 day became bearish again, as if it is forming a swing high in a downtrend. If it can go down from here, that will give probably attractive shorting opportunities. Let's look at the bucket analysis. If you take all the S&P 1500 stocks, look at their Bollinger Bands and drop them into 10 equidistant buckets depending on where they are inside the Bollinger Band. 1 at the lower Bollinger Band, 10 at the upper Bollinger Band, midpoint will be 5 and 6. So we put all the stocks in these 10 buckets. If any stock is above upper Bollinger Band, we put that in the greater than 10 bucket. If any stock is below lower Bollinger Band, we put it in the minus 1, less than 1 bucket. All of those stocks below lower Bollinger Band in the less than 1 bucket. Then calculate the total number of stocks in each bucket and further calculate a percentage. Then we get the histogram. The histogram is showing that more stocks are to the right of the midpoint than to the left of the midpoint. So overall, the market is slightly bullish. And from the graph we can see 57% of stocks in S&P 1500, they are above the mid Bollinger Band. On Thursday it was 64%, so it was a decline from Thursday to Friday, and we saw that from the sector industry stock advance decline as well. The buckets at the extremes greater than 10 and less than -1, they are at overbought condition or oversold condition if they reach 30-40% level, but it is far from that. The uppermost extreme bucket is only at 7%, lowermost extreme bucket is only at 2.5%. So we don't have any directional bias from the bucket analysis oversold overbought condition. So we look at the market ETFs, we look at sector industry stock advance decline and bucket analysis. We see that we don't have very clear direction, except that the market is in downtrend for most of the market ETFs, and the percentage of stocks above 50-day moving average is also bearish. So it is bearish, but as of Friday we don't have enough signals to decide whether to take long trades or short trades, because 1 month period is bearish and Friday was also bearish. If the market goes down next week, then it will be easier to take shorts than to take longs, even if the market goes up next week, at least in the beginning. Now let's see if technical breadth helps us with additional insight using the Q finder bearish versus bullish signals. Technical breadth, weekly interval. Weekly interval overall is bullish, 63%. Not very bullish, but 63% of all signals are bullish. Strength signal 67% bullish. Trend continuation, trend reversal are also bullish. So weekly period is bullish in terms of technical breadth, and that is in line with QH sector industry stock advanced decline breadth. Weekly period was bullish there also. And Friday's signals using the daily finder, that is bearish. 69% of all signals bearish. Strength signals also bearish. Same is true for continuation and reversal signals. This is also in line with what we saw from sector industry stock advanced decline breadth from QH. Friday was bearish, but the weekly period is bullish. If the market goes down, this is also favoring taking short trades. At the same time, there may be some stocks that are going up. in some industries that are stronger than others, and there you may look for bullish trades. Let me check if icon or definitive data is streaming now. Okay, it seems to be filling up, so now it should be all right. Okay, if so, then let me try to connect Metastock also, and it is successful. So why don't we look at the global markets? We do that every week. Australian All Ordinaries in a downtrend with lower high, lower low in the daily. Interestingly, like in the USA market, for some of the market ETFs, at the swing low it displayed bullish headwind and then price recovered. Now it is near the trend line resistance. If price can come down from here, that may give shorting opportunities in individual stocks. I will not buy now because there are multiple trend line resistances. Australian market in downtrend. Japanese index topics. After displaying the bearish headwind, price dropped a lot. It recovered little bit. However, Friday has a topping tail candle, large upper tail. If price goes down from here, the weekly backdrop being bearish, we may look for shorting opportunities. Maybe not in topics because topics is already below lower boundary. But if topics can go down next week, then you may look for shorting opportunities in individual stocks. For short-term trading, it is in a downtrend with lower high, lower low. China market CSI 300 index moving sideways. This status is not changing for a long time, moving sideways in both daily and weekly interval. The weekly triangle is becoming narrower near the tip. So eventually it will make a decision whether to go up or go down, and that will be the right time to follow the CSI 300's direction and take trades in that direction. Now it is sideways. FTSE index, that was in a sideways range earlier and that is continuing. Will not take any trade, directional trade in the UK market right now. And let's look at India's Nifty 50. In an uptrend, however, for last 3 weeks price is not going up. That is showing up as a sideways move in the daily. If this trend line support is broken, then I'll be cautious. Now remember, in the last webinar when I was at this point, I mentioned that though the weekly had come down, didn't even go below the previous week's low, and that was happening at a time when the USA market was correcting. So I remember my last webinar was actually the previous weekend webinar. I was right on this candle, and I mentioned that if price can go up from here, you may look for buying opportunities in individual stocks. And in fact that happened, and I am sure in the last 5 days price went up. If you took proper Q trades starting from Monday, they would have mostly covered the risk distance by Friday. You would be able to exit the trades with profit at the initial profit target. Now I will not buy in Nifty 50 because it is already somewhat above the swing high, close to the upper boundary, and also it has a doji like candle in the daily chart. I will not short also because there is a trend line support. If the support is broken, I will be cautious about long positions. Good. I could have a look at the global markets. global market status have not changed. Australia continuing to be in downtrend, Japanese market continuing to be in downtrend, China, UK sideways, India uptrend. USA market we already discussed. Now let's look at some of the stocks I shared earlier before knowing the result, and after that I will try to demonstrate 3 workflows. Let me close the, give me 1 minute, sorry about that. Because I connected with Refinitiv, let me open the Q Dives programs. Edge, let me play and see if streaming is on. Open Vital also. I think that will do. Let's now look at some of the stocks I shared earlier. One was a gold miner, AU. I posted it in the forum on my website on this day. That time it broke out of a trend line resistance and it had a up move on this day or this day. Let's look at the template with historical trend lines. On this day, right near the market open, I shared it on my forum. And why don't we look up the post from the forum? On my website saganandi.com, I share trade analysis under this category, 360 degrees trading techniques and ideas, and this was the post. 5 days ago I shared it on AU, and it's good to have a look at the snapshots I shared at that time. Very informative. We can learn a lot. See, gold miners was the worst performer earlier, and it was one of the worst for a very long time. Right on that day, using real-time information, very close to the market open, I saw gold miners were going up. That was a big score jump, relative score of gold miners from 4 to 124, and that showed up as acceleration. So I was interested to look for a buying opportunity, and I found AU. It was up with a short squeeze potential, high earnings growth, medium valuation, 100% of peer stocks were up. Also pays a dividend yield of 3.25%. So it was a one-star candidate with high earnings growth. The industry was very strong in itself and relative to others. And that time I shared it right near the market open. The trend line was broken one day earlier, and then next day price was going up. And see how the bullish headwind could catch the bottom in the weekly chart, and in the weekly also on that day price was breaking above the trend line resistance. And if you looked at the momentum signals, firstly it was oversold, extreme oversold condition shown by low jump as well as low thrust. And then we had a biggest up move of 3 months coming at pendulum or price extreme low. Those are often a sign that the price will go up. That was what I shared 5 days ago, and if you see since then, price has steadily gone up, covered much more than the risk distance. Initially I booked some partial profit, and on Friday I closed the entire trade looking at the daily candle. Initially I had put the trailing stop, but looking at the daily candle I closed my entire position also at the close of Friday. One more reason of doing that is I looked at the GLD chart, the gold ETF. It had a very large gap up open in the daily, and then it had a drop like a rock falling from the sky. Very sharp drop. The gap up took it to above the trendline resistance, and the closing happened below the trendline resistance. That was looking very bearish. The weekly candle shape was also bearish. In fact, one bullish shape candle followed by one bearish shape candle, price closing in a narrow range for 2 weeks on the closing basis. So this was not looking bullish in the daily especially. That is one reason I decided to book full profit in AU. Another stock that I shared, CLSK. It had a bullish headwind and bull release signal, and then price was going up. I shared it somewhere here. By Friday it had covered the risk distance, so I booked at least partial profit in the stock. Another stock I shared recently, all these are bullish trades. You see, even though the market corrected, I could catch the bullish trades right near their respective swing lows and then make a nice profit in them. And all these trades I shared before knowing the result. General Motors auto stock I bought on this day as a pullback to yellow direction line and holding that support. I took it initially with a call option, and very next day when it jumped up, it had more than 50% profit in the naked call option. I had booked partial profit and then sold some out of the money call. So I booked some profit and made it into a long call vertical, continued to remain bullish on the stock. Then I placed a GTC order to book profit in the long call vertical as well. Usually I like to book profit at 50% of max profit. However, here I already booked partial profit in the General Motors trade. So I think I put my GTC order at 80% of max profit, and even that was hit on Friday. That was a GTC order, so I am now out of GM. I first booked 50% of the naked call option profit right the next day after entering the trade, and then I converted into a long call vertical which exited on Friday at 80% of max profit. Another, I would say, any very nicely planned and executed trade using unambiguous signals. Let's look at Dell now. Dell, I shared some, I think in the forum and Twitter, some technical signals. As of Friday, it has displayed the bearish headwind with bear release, with bearish traffic light, reversal candle at pendulum high. However, it has a lower tail, and I was looking to see if it could form a false upside breakout at the weekly watermark resistance. That did not happen. If price could go below the watermark resistance, then the false upside breakout would be complete, and there are plenty of bearish signals that would allow us to short Dell using the box short trade setup. However, that didn't happen. Now next week if it comes down, it will be too late to short because it will come close to the trend line support. If you are holding a long position, you may be cautious if this trend line support is broken. There are many indecision signals also in the daily, in the weekly as well. So if you are holding long position and you don't have a large enough cushion, you may keep an eye on the stock. Fundamentals not very weak, but technically it has some topping signals. Not a bearish signal yet, but possible reversal signal. Netflix may be another stock like that. It is not near a watermark resistance in the weekly, in fact far above that, but it has a long upper tail in the weekly. In the daily, on Thursday it had a bear release. Then on Friday an indecision at the top, also a bearish signal, and a bearish shape candle. Lately it had gone up sharply, so much so that the jump has become nearly extreme to the upside. The jump, extreme overbought condition, nearly extreme, not cyan yet, but it is hitting green. And I noticed it had a big up move, biggest up move of 3 months. When biggest up move of 3 months happens at a lower price level, that is very bullish. But in this case, the biggest up move of 3 months happened at pendulum high, near extreme overbought jump condition. So that may be a signal that it is becoming too overbought. And also you can see it has a red candle high. In fact, series of them in recent periods. Another one came, I think, which day? Another one came Thursday, red candle high. So those are few warning signals. If you have a cushion in the trade, in fact, if you have taken the trade at swing low, then it has hit the upper boundary, initial profit target, it would be good to book at least partial profit. I will not buy Netflix now. It has several warning signals at extreme overbought level. No bearish signal yet, but becoming overbought. Now I mentioned I would like to show 3 workflows. Let me do that to look for some buying and shorting opportunities. Let me open Q Finder. Okay, let's check first if Q Edge is able to update data. Yes. So definitive connection is on. Let me pause it and also open Finder. Okay, 3 workflows. Let's start with top down, but in this top down I would not like to be restricted to S&P 1500 stocks. I would like to find stocks from the liquid stocks universe, mid price, high price, and the other workflows I'll use the same approach, that is in fundamental first. So I'm calculating a scorecard of all the liquid stocks. Let that complete. Is retrieving data from definitive, and then I will start the 3 workflows. And I think looking at the market ETFs, you will be able to find both buying opportunities, shorting opportunities, buying opportunities in strong fundamental stocks. So let me do a top down approach using minimal number of clicks. I could start from sector level, but sector tends to neutralize strong and weak industries inside them. So I prefer to go to the industry level. I keep an eye on the sectors, but I start finding my top-down trades from industry level. So this is the industry scorecard. Let's look for a bullish trade. So I am going to look at the strongest industries. These are 20% of the best performing industries on Friday. And now I'm drilling down to the underlying stocks, not from S&P 1500, but from all liquid stocks universe. These are the stocks. I came to Q Vital. The scorecard calculation was already there. So it has found, let me point out, it has found total 310 stocks, all liquid stocks from those strong industries. 228 are up on Friday, 81 are down. And I will like to buy at least 1-star buying candidates. That is either with undervaluation or high earnings growth. So let me click the 1-star. Now I am left with 232 stocks, 179 up, 52 down. I'm not interested in the down stocks, so I'm going to click the plus button at the top right corner. So these stocks are up, 179 up. Okay, place the plus button. 179 up. 170 stocks, 179 up, because I applied the smart filter to find only stocks that are up. So these are in the strongest industries with strong fundamentals, either in terms of valuation or growth. Now I am looking up their technical signals from QFinder and then applying the smart filter to look for stocks that have actual trade setup. One of the breakout or go with flow or pullback. No pullback today, 0, or bounce. Headwind also no today. In any case, now I am left with 26 stocks. So I started with more than 2000 stocks, carried out a top-down analysis, and let's see how many clicks. Let's start again. This is the industry level. I'm drilling down into the stocks. 1 click. Find 1-star candidates. 2 click. Stocks that are up. 3 click. Look for trade setups in Finder and smart filter the setup. So using 5 clicks, I am down from 2000 plus stocks to only 26 stocks, and these are the best of the best in the strongest industries with strong fundamentals with technical setup. I'll not go through all of them, but I will look at one stock, this BNS, Bank Nova Scotia. Let's look at its technical charts. Strong industry, strong fundamental, and the technicals are giving a very attractive breakout from trendline resistance in both daily and weekly. Weekly backdrop is bullish, shape is very bullish. Has a reversal. The reversal candle is always a bullish candle, and it is happening after creating a false downside breakout at the watermark support. So buyers thought that this price is attractive enough to start buying, and they are able to break out of the trendline resistance in weekly. The same thing happened in daily. If you looked at the stock at that time using the same analysis I did just now, you could buy when it created the false downside breakout in daily at the daily watermark support around that. And now it is giving the next trade setup at the double bottom. It would be a box long trade setup, and now it is giving a breakout long trade setup. In the momentum signals, we see it was in a squeeze, and now it went out, broke out with Mobo breakout from squeeze earlier with a kahuna. Mobo breakout from a squeeze with a kahuna. That is a bullish momentum signal. So BNS is giving a bullish trade setup. That was one of the workflows, top-down workflows, 5 clicks. Now let me carry out the fundamental first workflow. My stock universe is the liquid stock universe, these 2168 stocks. This workflow is fundamental first. So I'm going to the stock scorecard. Again, I want only one star candidate. There are 1437 stocks in that. I want to find out which one are up. So click the plus button, 568. So these are fundamentally strong and up on Friday. Now I would like to check their industries. So I clicked on the gear icon, the Q edge integration icon, to look up their industries of these stocks. You can see some of the industries strong, some of the industries weak. So I'm going to look at the industries that are strongest, and these are not all industries, these are industries of those strong fundamentals. So these are the strong industries. Some of them are weak if I scroll down, but I'm not interested in the weak ones. And now I go back to Q Vital. I want to see only stocks in these industries. Click the button again. Again, look for 1 star plus. So I'm left with 179 stocks. Now you see the number is same. So whether I did top down or fundamental first, I would arrive at the same stocks because I am aligning forces from the same levels. It's just a matter of whether starting with edge for top down, starting with vital for fundamental first. The same number of stock, then same process. I will look for technical setups, actual trade setups from Q Finder, and we'll find BNS here as well. First, let me look for a short setup now. As I mentioned, the market may have both long and shorting opportunities. Long opportunity like BNS in strong industry, shorting opportunity, of course, I look for weak fundamental and weak industry. So let's look at the bearish setups now. Focus on only the stocks that are giving setups. So 248 stocks from those 2000 plus stock universe. Now I would like to carry out a fundamental analysis using Cube Vital and look for weak fundamental stocks, 1 star bearish candidates. So with one click, I am linking with Cube Vital to carry out a fundamental scorecard analysis. System became a bit slow, is connecting with Refinitiv, retrieving the data about these 248 stocks. They have some kind of Q short setup today. Let's look at the stocks. Look for 1 star. Now I'm clicking the red color bearish candidates. Look for stocks that are down. So these are the stocks that are down, weak fundamental, and they have bearish short setup. Now let me look for stocks that are in weak industries. Link with QH, and you can see your Refinitiv is still giving some error. These messages are coming from server. Anyway, we may continue. Now I am looking for weak industries. These are industries of the stocks I selected. Let's look at the weakest industries with bold case. They are among the bottom 20% of industries. Go back to Q Vital. Now I'm looking at stocks in those weak industries. 1 star down. These are the stocks, and let's look at this stock, SWCH. Negative earnings growth here, medium valuation. So 1 star bearish candidate, poor earnings quality, down by minus 2.8%. Let's look at these stocks, SWCH. SWCH. In the daily, once again, the bearish headwind caught the very top. I think that was the all-time high. It looks like, looking at the chart in the weekly for this period, looks like all-time high, or at least multi-year high, caught the ultimate top. Since then, price couldn't go up. That's why whenever bearish headwind comes, we are alert. And if setup conditions are met, we take a bearish headwind short setup. But at minimum, we protect profit in long positions. And after bearish headwind, then the next bearish flow is also a point we could short if the trend line support was not there at that time. And now it is giving a breakout short setup with bearish flow. So it's a possible go with flow short setup and also a breakout short setup. Weekly is very bearish in shape and color. Now see, once again it displayed the biggest down move of 3 months at pendulum high. Those are usually signs of things to come, further weakness to come. And also we see the thrust and jump both hit the extreme overbought condition. Pullback was due, and the pullback started right from the bearish headwind. On Friday it gave a bearish breakout again. Further, we have some bearish momentum signals, pocket pivot bearish with Mobo breakout and a Kahuna, all on Friday. Friday, Bongo turned red as well. So we have Q signals, momentum signals, all bearish. So I found two stocks, SWCH using technical first workflow, and then BNS I carried out both top down as well as fundamental first workflows, and I found BNS from them. So you are able to find stocks like that, like this, easily using whichever workflow suits you. You could have other mixed workflows, but these three are the ones that people use the most. These are only two trade setups that you could find on Friday. There are many more. I will not go through all of them. I wanted to demonstrate the different workflows with live data. And good that Refinitiv connection was back. So as you can see, I mentioned in the previous webinars, also recent few webinars, that market is not very bullish overall. However, there are strong industries. I bought a lot of stocks, AU, CLSK, GM, shared them before knowing the result, exited all of them with profit. And now also I see a buying opportunity. There may be others. BNS is one. I see shorting opportunities like SWCH. Whatever be the market, in this way you are able to find firstly low risk. We are always interested in trades that are having the stop loss not very far, and also high probability because they are having the fundamental, technical, industry, all forces aligned with the market. I will not take more time today, not that slide. Thanks a lot for attending. I look forward to seeing you in our next session. Usually I was having the Wednesday session, midweek market meeting. However, now I'm also carrying out the master classes, so I may skip the Wednesday's meeting until the master classes are over. Still many master classes to come. The last one was on Q index, the next one will be on Q vital. I look forward to all of you who registered for the sessions to join me in the vital session next week. Thanks once again. Have a great weekend, and no reason not to do that. As I always say, trade profitably. Thank you.